Hi guys, and welcome back to the show. Today we continue building the table saw fence. If you haven't seen the first video yet, I'll post the link up here. So let's not waste any more time and get right down to it. Luke, I am a Nomad's Projects.
Where we left off in the last video, I was checking to see whether or not the fence was square. It was perfectly square, so now we need to get the fence fixed to the sideways support. I drilled pilot holes, countersunk them, and then screwed the fence to the sideways support. Before moving on, I wanted to test that the fence was square with the blade. So I made a series of cuts and then measured both sides of the workpiece. I can already tell that this fence is a fantastic upgrade for my DIY table saw. .6 as close as I can measure. 17.6. Again, using the method I learned from Tony at Slow and Expensive, I covered a cut line with some painter's tape to prevent the blowout. Link to his channel in the video description. I cut another IKEA shelf down to length, covered it with painter's tape, used my amazing new table saw fence, and then I offered up the parts to see if they fit. Wrecking even more IKEA furniture, I cut down a really thick shelf to size. And I call this wood. I'll put the bigger piece here, this one on top, and this will be the outside of the fence, and it makes for a nice little shelf that I can put stuff in, like my push sticks. I sanded down the surfaces because my intention is to glue and screw this together. I have no idea if the glue will stick to these surfaces, but I figured it couldn't harm to try. After clamping the last piece to the fence, I then screwed it in from the side. Maybe it doesn't look like that, but there is actually a little bit of chipboard inside that old thick IKEA shelf where the screws can get some bite.
Now the fence is more or less complete, so I'll plane and prepare this 2x4 and let's see if we can resaw it.
I had to reattach the fence to my planer because the last time I used it, it was in thicknessing mode. I know I've said it before, but the fact that you have to detach the fence to use it in thicknessing mode is one of the big drawbacks with this machine. I used my Wixley digital angle gauge to check that the fence was square. It has a slight overhang, but I prefer that because the the fence tends to flex a little bit when you use it. I checked that my saw blade was square, and then I could square off the last side of the 2x4. I've probably said it before, but I already love this fence. Before I've always used a straight edge as a fence, and you had to measure and readjust that 1,000 times for every cut. This is just fantastic compared to that. I measured the workpiece and then I set the height of the saw blade. You'll see this a little bit later, but I set the saw blade maybe a millimeter too low. I made the first cut at about half the height of the workpiece, then I flipped it over and made the second cut. There was a sliver of wood left between the two cuts. So I raised the blade maybe a couple of millimeters and then tried again. After seeing Andy Mack at Gosforth Handyman's video on table saw safety, I've stopped using my push shoe. He made a really good point there about the disadvantages of using a push shoe. You'll find a link to that video down in the video description as well. I need more practice using the push sticks. I don't have the same confidence and control as I used to with the push shoe, and especially when it comes to really narrow rips. Here you can see the results from the first cut. There is a little bit of an edge there where the two cuts didn't meet. The next cut was a lot better. I don't know if it's visible in the video or not, but there is a little bit of an edge between the two cuts. However, I think that this is as good as I'm going to get it, and I'm very pleased with the results. If I take these boards once through the thickness planer on each side, I think they will be perfect. Here you can see the boards from a different angle. I think this is quite good. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I really hope you liked the video. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. Remember to leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, and I'll get back to you guys on any comments. Catch you in the next one.